Yeah, you know what time it is. It's time for Beau and Nick, the losers with a dream. What a waste of time. Yep, they're losers. You're listening, so who's the freaking loser, people? Welcome to Beau and Nick's Losers with a Dream. Yeah, I freaking hate them so much. They're lucky they're funny because they suck at everything. You're listening. The question is, why?
Hello and welcome to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers and we got big dreams. I am your host, Nick Scopes. This is Beau McDowell, and due to your emails, we will have Beau speak less in the intro, so you guys actually want to listen to the rest of the episode.
I don't read emails, and I don't appreciate that, Nick. My name is Beau. I'm the other person.
He's French and hot, and I'm just regular hot, sort of. I'm lukewarm. Let's be honest. Let's be real. First and foremost, I'd like to make an announcement.
Please.
My baby got a job!
Oh! I'm out here at work.
We're going to Bermuda for Christmas.
That's right. I'm a working girl now.
He's got an OnlyFans.
Oh, no, that would not be good.
Tell us about your job, dude.
So, listen, why don't we get into it? Because we just got to see where we're at, and we can talk it through.
Okay.
All right. So, obviously we're mental cases. We have a few issues, but also we want to make sure that, throughout the show that we're at our best. So we got to check in. So,
we're at our best.
Nick, where are you at these days?
I'm doing all right. But last few days have been a roller coaster.
Okay.
Coming off of a weekend at a bachelor party with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
It was a good time. So we talked about you getting a job. My job I've had for a while, but there's times where I just hate it. Right. There's every time, once in a while, you just hate your job. And you're like,
it's important to hate your job a little bit.
Yeah. I feel like, if you guys are familiar with this reference, I feel like Mickey Rourke in The Wrestler when he's working at the deli and he just jams his fucking thumb into the thing and goes, "That's it, I quit." And he's bleeding. He's wiping all over his face. He's like, "Get your own fucking cheese, lady." That's what I want to do, except with a dumbbell and throw it through a window. God. Sometimes I just really am like, I don't want to be here.
Yes. No, I mean, listen, it's how it goes. When I was working my last job, I used to go out and I could tell how miserable I was by the amount of cigarette breaks I would take. Because there's no one more miserable than the guy outside of the office just having the cigarette going, I don't know, man.
What was over under more than 4? You're like, I have to go to a meeting. Yeah. Less than 4, you're like, all right, I'm doing okay.
It was how many every hour? You know what I mean? It was just, I was so done. I was just,
this is unrelated. It's a related question, but can they tell you to stop going out for too many cigarette breaks or no?
I don't know. I think they can be like, dude, you got to do your job, but for the most part,
hour.
Yeah,
I mean, know if there was
No, it's good. It's good of you to check on company culture and all that stuff.
I don't know. I just want to, in case I get a real job one day.
One day,
this dream dies. How's your mental health, babe?
It's
All right, we'll leave it at that.
Right now, it's funny that you said Mickey Rourke, because right now I feel like Ron Livingston in Office Space when he goes, every day I go to work is the worst day of my life. So every day you're speaking to me is the worst day of my life. It's just the funniest. But I got this new job. It's my second day today, and I'm back.
Got fired.
I'm back to the corporate niceties of being fake. You just have to be fake all day. You know what I mean? You get on calls, you go, hey! You immediately, you're creating energy that isn't real to have a conversation about almost nothing. Do you know what I mean? So every day it's just and it's only been 2 days, but literally all.
So we're off to a good start then. This
all
is good.
day though, I just feel I was so exhausted after the end of the first day, because I was like, oh, I haven't not been myself for an entire day before in the last year. Yeah. So it was I was exhausted by having to put on energy that's not real. Yeah. It's just it's tiring.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, buddy. That's what my whole job is all the time.
Yeah, just you're doing great with your diet.
It's funny when people when you tell them you're a trainer, they're like, oh man, is it they think it's this hardcore thing. It's no, I'm talking people off the ledge all day.
Right.
How to calm them down and be I don't know, I feel my diet's not good. And I'm everything's good. Yeah. You can even show them results, physical results, and they're I don't know, I just don't see it. I'm like, this, no, but.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people have like that body dysmorphia where like even if they're doing better, like they don't even notice in the mirror because they're just so focused on themselves being fat.
You know what's the worst is when you see
other people have that. I don't know what they're talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Beau, perfection. You don't need that. But you ever see a photo of yourself and go, oh, I look gross. And
Yeah.
a few months later, you look back and go, you know what? I looked pretty good.
You start to lower the bar of what's
fucking
bad.
makes me so mad. And I was like, why was I so upset about this 6 months ago? I was like, I need to get back to that.
Yeah.
I need to get back to that.
Yeah.
It's like I was there and I hated it. So what does it even? It doesn't even matter, dude.
No, it really doesn't.
Life's not real.
No.
Neither is love.
Well, love is real, and we are a couple guys who love to fall in love.
We do.
Yes.
I want you to go first on this one.
You want me to go
Yeah,
first?
because mine's. I feel like yours is gonna be funny, and mine's gonna be a little bit more serious.
It is? Okay.
yeah,
All right. Okay. All right. Listen.
I want to see what you got here.
So I did not fall in love with my dumb friends who keep having fake weddings. Okay, all of my friends are doing this thing where they got married during the pandemic because they caved and they couldn't be alone for inside too long. So they went down to the courthouse.
You watch Netflix with me forever.
Yeah, we just were quarantined and chilling forever. And so they go down to the courthouse. They get the paper signed. They get married like a couple of losers. They can't deal with themselves. And then it comes around the next year and they want to have weddings. And I say, no. You don't have a wedding after you've already been married for a year. You don't make me rent a suit, show up, care, be in the wedding, stand there, have to have sex with one of the bridesmaids. I don't want to do that.
Have to have sex.
To do it. Have to do it.
Yeah, right. It's like, Beau, you gotta nail this chick, dude. You're the only stallion in this lineup.
As Lisa would say, he bent over the desk.
You got cornholed.
Yeah.
And piped. And
But
all our new words.
I'm just
Yeah.
it's all for show. It's all for their ego to have their day, and I don't care. I don't care about their day. I'm not interested. I can't wait.
Until it's your day?
No, not my day. I don't care about my day. I can't wait until I'm going to start charging these people appearance fees. Once I start selling tickets, I swear to God,
I'm
appearance
surprised
fees.
you're not doing that already.
I wanted to do it. I was like, oh, you want me to come to your wedding? It's $500. You know what I mean? Like, I'll show up. I'll do a few
is dinner
jokes.
paid for?
But instead, it's chicken
Do you
or
have a lot of
steak.
club soda?
Go to Men's Warehouse, spend $500.
Weddings are
Anyways,
a lot. Weddings
yeah.
are a lot. I feel you, man. I was at a bachelor party this weekend, a bunch of guys in finance, and now we have like Excel spreadsheets on who owes what. And I'm like, this is...
Yeah.
I like it, though. They're very organized. I like these guys. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's not what we're talking about. So...
Who would you fall in love with?
Sorry, it's Pride Month. I blacked out. All right. So I fell in love with... he's our mascot. He's our biggest fan.
Okay.
Bob Scopoletti. My dad. You hear that clapping? It's Lisa in the back. My dad's been going back and forth to New York City to doctors. He's fine. He's just, he's 71. He's getting his prostrate checked. His prostate, Dad, which he highlighted.
Yep.
We were driving back to the city. We basically, you drive into the city. We're there for 30 minutes. We drive back. The traffic the other day was atrocious. And I was like, there's no one in Connecticut you can do this with?
Yeah.
There's no doctors in Connecticut. None.
Yeah.
Yale, New Haven. Nothing. And I was like getting kind of like a bit of a mood. He's like, they treat you like a number there. Like, I want to see the main guy. I want to see the head doctor, not his fucking... My dad literally... we went to see this doctor and his son came into the room. My dad goes, no, I really want to see your dad. I'm sorry. And I was like, this poor guy, fresh out of med school, like really nerdy Jewish guy, like really, he's like, oh, okay, that's fine, I understand, and just left. And I was like, Dad, he's like, I want to see the fucking guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah. I get that.
And I understand his concern. Our family's a bunch of hypochondriacs and nut jobs, and I was in a bad mood. And then I got this in the mail from my dad. It's a heartfelt thank you card. And he goes, although we have differences, we always discuss them out. Thanks again on my, and he makes sure to underline, prostate journey. He's like, your thoughtfulness is appreciated. Then he wrote in your mental strength, your love, kindness, feelings, your truthfulness, and much more. Love, Dad, 24/7.
Wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I got mad in the moment. I'm like, not from this, but I'm saying in the moment I got mad, and then I got this, and I was like, man.
Right.
Sometimes Also watch, and Lisa can speak to this later for sure, like dealing with an aging parent could be frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially if you see that they're maybe unhealthy or can't do something that they used to do. It just makes you nervous.
Right,
Like
right.
My dad's at this age where like he's not old, he's 71, he's not, 91 or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I see it coming and I'm like, okay, this is, it's going to be coming. Like, this prostate thing, how's he going to be? But, my dad, I never thought I would have this sort of relationship with my father. So this is really
Yeah,
cool.
man. You guys have gotten a lot closer. And a lot of that's been you opening up through comedy and like,
Everything.
you just kind of growing up. So
And this
it's
podcast,
cool.
to be honest, and not even just because we're on here talking about it, but he listens to it. The things Lisa's taught us, everything, right? Like it's just like being more open and honest. We're learning day by day.
That's awesome.
Day by day. And
so you actually really fell in love.
I did. My dad's a good guy, man.
He is.
Dad's a good guy. I was like, damn, I gotta control my.
In
traffic. I was like, why are we? I'm losing it.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing is just the fact that he's gonna listen to this and know how much you love him. That's
which
cool.
is way better than me telling him in person because I can't. So
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So I'll make a joke or something. I'll be like, you're a loser, and like, hit
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
That's how I
yeah.
show. Like, shut up, Dad.
Yeah. Come on, Dad.
Yeah, got your note. Pussy. Getting real soft your old age, huh, dude?
Meanwhile, you cried all night looking into it.
Just chest bumping him. Hey, you little bitch. Hey, you bitch.
You're such a little bitch.
What would your dad say, dude? He's like, my dad would say nothing. He'd beat the shit out of me. So you're doing well, Dad.
Yes.
Okay? You're really improving.
He did. He's doing well.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick little break.
That's right.
And then we're going to come back and talk about our topic today, which is friendships. Okay?
When to cut them loose.
Or stick with them, or friendships, captain of the
Mainly
ship.
when to cut them loose.
We'll be right back.
This episode of Losers with the Dream is brought to you by Nick's father's prostate. Unlike Beau's comedy career, it's getting bigger every day.
Hello and welcome to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers and we got big old dreams.
Yes, we do.
I just heard you giggling in my ear and I was like, what's he doing?
That's me just constantly. When we're in the back doing shows, I'm always just like...
We're going to get into our topic today. We were talking about friendships.
Yes.
Not so much our friendship, which has blossomed and it's been great.
Yeah. And it's going to turn into a lovership soon.
No, I'm going to cut you off today. This is our final episode. I'm done with you, dude. So yeah, we thought about this topic, or I thought about this topic. I told Beau, and then he credited it as his own, pretty much, which is what he normally does.
Yes, yeah. It was a good idea that I had that he had.
Yeah. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I was at a bachelor party this weekend, and with guys who I have known since I was a little kid, and then I moved right after 8th grade. There's the guys that grew up in Westchester.
Right.
And I was just thinking, like, it's 20 guys in the house and guys who I haven't seen, some of them in such a long time.
Right.
And it's
you
almost,
like worried that like, is it going to still be there? Are we still going to be friends?
Yeah, but it's always like no time's passed.
Right.
Like it's always like right back into it. Everyone's cool. We're sharing stories about like middle school and things I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, remember when you did this? I was like, oh my God, I did that? Like, what's wrong with me as a child?
Right, yeah.
But it was such a good time, and like this is when I just started thinking about friendships. Like I'm lucky with those guys. Like it's cool. We get together, we connect. It's all great.
Right.
Like no time's passed. But I started thinking about like the friends that we started off with in life, right? And then the circumstances change.
Yeah, things get crazy.
And I guess I'll go first here, but the big example I have is I remember I had a buddy of mine. Right after football ended in high school, I was kind of lost and didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Right.
And he knew I wanted to work out and lift weights, and this guy was like the big guy.
Yeah.
On like in school.
He was Mr. Roids.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty
Okay,
much.
yeah.
Yeah, he sold them to me. So
Okay.
no.
He's your dealer.
Yeah, he was my dealer. But it was like I had a loss of identity. Football ends. Now you're like, okay, what the hell do I do now? I have to run out the clock for senior year.
And this guy kind of like filled that
Well, I just
void.
went up to him one day in school and I was like, do you want to start like working out together?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, come to the YMCA.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
We just started working out together. He got me one of my first jobs to keep me busy. Worked at GNC with him. I know, such a meathead love affair.
Yeah.
And we just became like really good friends.
Yeah.
And he was helping me. Like I was on and off with my high school girlfriend who was a year older than me away at college. That was a nightmare.
Right.
And whenever I had a down moment or we broke up for the 9th time, he would come pick me up, pay for whatever we did to go out. Like anything. He was such an amazing friend.
Yeah, sounds like a great guy. So what happened?
He got into later in life, we ended up going to college together, all that stuff. He just got into drugs.
Yeah.
And
you don't say.
You don't say. You know this story. You ever heard it?
I've never heard it.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You're telling me you like to get high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
So he turned his one extreme, which was health, fitness, bodybuilding, said, I'm going to chill a little bit and just have some fun. That turned into a full-blown heroin addiction.
The good stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it took a complete turn. Right. Became like a drug kingpin up at our school. Which was very weird. And it was tough because I was in this place where like, he was asking for money, which he never did. Ever.
Yeah.
He like bought me my gym membership in high school because I didn't have any money. And he was like, I remember when he bought it for me, he goes, pay me back in like 10 years. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like really cool, nice guy. And I was like, well, I have to, he's helped me.
So now he wants that gym membership money back for smack. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I was like, he's helped me. I got to help him. Right. Give him money, things, he was clean for a while. Then he relapsed and then he was asking for money again. And I was like,
no,
I can't do it.
Yeah.
And there were other things. It wasn't just the money thing. That socially, he had trouble just going to a party and being normal and amicable. He had to be the guy. Yep. He had to be the center of attention.
Oh yeah,
the big guy.
I've never heard of this.
Starting fights.
He
had to be that dude. If someone in the room was acting too was getting this attention, he had to distract it somehow. Even if it meant being violent or being a dick to everybody.
Sure, yeah.
So there was multiple things.
It's exhausting to be around somebody like that.
Yeah.
Which
is why I'm glad I met you.
You can never give them
life.
enough attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen, that was me, so I get it.
Yeah. What about you?
All right, so...
You had some good stories.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot, but... So
we're here.
You were explaining kind of being an enabler, and I have to say I am a textbook, and I just enable everybody in my life to do whatever they want to me. The people that I've let go and these stories are people that it was dangerous for me to be around them. So the first example was a friend of mine who we were in middle school. We were friends. We lived close by, and it was like beginning of high school. And my mother always treated me like I was a full-grown man, even though I was a child. So she would tell me things that you shouldn't tell a child because I was her friend, and this is just how it goes. But she comes up to me one day and she goes, your friend, he tried to commit suicide last night. His mother walked in while he was hanging from a beam in his room. And I was like, okay, but like... All right, Mom. And she was like,
Thank you. Is dinner ready?
She goes, they sent him to a mental institution. And when he gets out, you guys should hang out. And, you should be a support system for this guy. I go, okay. So he gets out. Obviously, I'm not a good support system. That's the first point.
That's evident.
So this guy gets out of this whatever program. And he drives up to my house. I go outside. She goes, oh, he's here. Go hang out with him. It'll be fun. I get in the car. He's got about 15 morphine tablets on him. He goes, yo, man, I copped these. You do 7, I'll do 8. Let's go to Starbucks. I go, all right, cool. So, I eat about 7 morphine tablets. He eats about 8. And we smoke a little pot. We go over to Starbucks, which was weird. We'd never done that. And
morphine in Starbucks.
Yeah.
That's the combo.
Yeah. And we're sitting and he's telling me about his stint in this mental institution. And he was like, dude, it's sick. I learned this new way to get high. And I was like, okay, what's up, man? How do you do that? And he was like, well, we were able to smuggle in a belt. And me and the roommate that I had would take turns choking each other and until we would, until we were like close to, dying, and then we would pull it and you would get high. And he was like, "Isn't that awesome?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know." Like, you know what I mean? Just very. And by the way, this whole time he's like, "Hey, it was awesome. We were choking each other. It was great." He's like flying a mile a minute. He's got all this morphine in his system. I'm like, just, I'm high, but I'm confused. And we're sitting in the Starbucks, and he starts going into a seizure, and I was like, and so I kind of like grab him as he's seizing out, and I like get him to sit down, and he kind of like comes back, and I remember at that moment just being like, yeah, I don't think I can hang out with this guy. You know what I mean? It was like,
yeah,
and it was probably the first friend that I had to break up with. But his life was so tragic at that point, and there was also, I wasn't going to be helpful, and it was dangerous for me to be learning that kind of stuff because I was viable to make some of those mistakes or to, start like wanting to be cool and trying to impress him and doing the things that he wanted to do. And I knew that. Yeah. So I remember calling him and being like, I just don't think we should be friends anymore. And, like, I like you, but I said, I like you in doses. And that got him really upset because he didn't know what that meant. And that was like the first friend that I ever like broke up with. So that would be my first example.
What ended up happening to him?
I have no idea.
You lost touch completely.
Yeah, he didn't. I mean, he wasn't in school for a long time. He kind of took off. I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah. So, but it's life. People.
And how old were you at this point?
16.
16. That takes balls, dude. I wouldn't have even had the.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? That's the lightest story I have. Like, that's the softball ease into it. So it's gonna get way worse.
Dude,
but
mine are so much different. Our lives are so different.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, dude, skinned Tommy, fucking skinned a cat, and killed his sister, and then he fucking took 8 morphine pills. We blew a homeless guy.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
This is great. Awesome.
Well, how else do you pass the time at 16? You know what I mean? But what about you?
Crying.
Who else you got? What other breakups you got?
It's not. See, for me, they are breakups, I guess, in a way. But it's when this has happened to me a few times. You actually made the example kind of in the beginning of this episode, talking about weddings and stuff.
Oh yeah.
There were a couple guys from back in the day that we would hang out, but they were kind of flaky on certain things.
Yeah.
Right. They were just not there, but all of a sudden now you don't speak to them for a few years, and then now they're getting married.
Yeah.
And now they ask you to be a groomsman. It's like, hey,
right.
man, we haven't hung out. And now you want all my money?
Yeah. Right. It's like, oh, I've done no investment on my part to keep this friendship alive, and now I want you to make a huge one by taking a few days off in the summer and coming and spending a bunch of money to watch me do something.
Because I'm me and I don't like confrontation. Yeah. I just go, sure.
Right.
And I also think
people pleasing.
It'll be fun and I'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get laid, whatever. I usually just sleep with the groom at all these things. It never works out, but just what it is.
Yeah.
But so I can remember that, and then literally as soon as the wedding's over, I haven't seen either of those guys.
Oh, it's just it's like right back to ghost.
We're just okay.
Yeah, you used me. You used me for my body to show that you have friends in front of your family.
But when I get married, am I going to invite them and get my refund? Yeah. They're not going to be groomsmen.
Yeah, but they're going to have to show
be
up.
There.
You get in the tux. Yeah.
It's $2.50 a plate, okay? We're going big time. So deal with it.
Yeah,
Start
everybody
saving.
else $30.
Yeah.
You $2.50.
Start taking out of your kids' college funds. Okay? Because I'm not going to get married for a while. You better be ready.
It's so obnoxious. I mean, I talked about it in the beginning, but it's just really, the wedding thing is really crazy. And it's so hard to just say, no, I don't want to go to that.
Can I tell you?
Which would be the most badass thing
Yeah.
you could ever say.
I know.
It's just like someone goes, my wedding that's coming up, and you go, yeah, not interested. How amazing would that be? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm so scared.
I dream about that.
Even like after this weekend with the bachelor party, I was thinking about, all right, and this is very far away, but if it were my bachelor party, and I'm thinking about having to make my friends like just even pay. Like, don't get me wrong, I did it for them, and I will do it. It's not a big deal, but I'm just sitting there. I'm not even near it, and I'm just thinking about, oh my god, I have to pay for something. I would pay for half of it because you can't ask your friends to do that because it's just it's too much. And like,
right.
I'm like, hold on, you're not even there yet. You psychopath. Calm down.
And by the way, make them pay for it.
I know.
You did it. You paid for these guys. You know, it's not a big deal.
And they probably will. I'll be fine at the time, but right now I'm like, I'll pay for half, or
No,
I'll be my own stripper.
Right.
It's just me alone.
I got this, boys.
Yeah, me alone in my room in front of a mirror. Like, give him 20 minutes, he'll be fine. So what other
so you ready
dark,
for my,
horrifying stories?
my second example?
Here we go.
Okay, so a really good friend, a guy that I was really close with, and still to this day I'm very close with. But this was a moment in time where I realized that I had to distance myself from this person because things were getting very scary. He was living in Providence at the time. That maybe gives it away for some of you who know me, but he was living in Providence. I was living in Willimantic, two places that are wonderful if you have a drug addiction. And so I drive out to see him for the weekend, and showed up at his apartment, and he was in the midst of a heroin and crack addiction that was extremely crippling. So just to paint a picture, I go into his apartment, and he had broken the mirror so that he couldn't look at himself. So the mirror in his bathroom was smashed in. All of the windows were boarded up. There was a lawn chair with cigarette butts next to it, and a mattress with no sheet. And in his freezer, he had freezed his own human shit. And to about the size. So
is this an episode of Black Mirror?
So here's the thing: when you're in the midst of a really bad heroin addiction, it's very, very hard to poop. It's a suppressant; it gets lodged in. Also, he wasn't eating; he was emaciated. And with the crack, you can go days without eating. So when he would have his bowel movements, they would be traumatic. They would be, he wouldn't have one for a month, and then it would come out, and it would hurt him, and it would be a full day. It would be like giving birth, is what what he explained it to me as. So he would, instead of flushing these things down the toilet, they were the size of like a bowling pin. He would freeze them.
Impressive.
He would freeze them in his freezer, right? Because he was psychotic, and he had lost kind of all things human, as they say, right? Like he was not really a human being at this point. And me and him would drive. I would get there, and I'd be drinking, and I walked into this apartment, and I was like, just kind of shocked, right? Just kind of like, what's, oh boy, but I was drinking, so I go, whatever. You just force it down. This isn't happening. I'm not in this scene. This scene doesn't exist. This is still my friend.
Numb yourself out.
Yeah. So I just go, I'm just gonna drink. I'll just drink, and I won't see what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is a guy that's gonna die. And, he's my best friend since we were kids, so it was hard to see that. And we go out to this party, right? And at this party, there was a nitrous oxide tank, which, I would always do balloons from here and there. And, like, when you got a big tank like that, you can just keep sucking down balloons. And what'll happen is when you ingest enough nitrous oxide, your brain will seize, and you'll fall on the floor, and you'll flop like a fish. And they call it fishing out, right? And now, I'd never seen that before. I'd done my share of nitrous, but I'd never seen someone actually fish out and flop on the floor. And I was hanging out with my buddy, and he starts fishing out, and he's going, and I go, no, I go over there and I try to help him, and I'm terrified, and the guys in the house looked at me like I was like,
what's this nerd's
like
deal?
I was a chaperone that showed up late. You know what I mean? They were like, what is he? This guy's stopping him from fishing out? What's going on?
Fucking nerd, let him have a good time.
Exactly. And they go,
like, what?
And they go like, no, man, he fishes out. That's what he does. And I go, all right, and I kind of like, once again, push it down, keep drinking.
You go, hey, you guys are bad people.
Keep ingesting, just going like, okay, oh no, everything's fine. And we get back to his place, and I pass out on that, on that mattress, and he stays up all night having cigarettes, and I wake up the next morning and my phone's gone, and I was like, dude, like, where's my phone? You think you see my phone? And he was like, oh man, you were so drunk last night, you probably lost your phone. You know what I mean? It's everywhere. So he helped me retrace my steps to every place that we went that night to try and find my phone. And then when we didn't find it, I was like, all right, man, well, whatever. I'll head back to Willimantic. And obviously he stole my phone and sold it for heroin, which he later told me. And I remember being in the car on the way back to Willimantic and thinking about that room and thinking about him and just how like dead he was.
Yeah.
And I remember just being, I remember just wanting to just turn around and go back and put him in the trunk of the car. Cause I was just like, I just got to save this guy. Like I can't leave. Cause if I leave, I may never see him again. But I also didn't know what to do. And the easiest thing to do was to just go home and drink. Do you know what I mean? And I didn't know how to have that conversation. I didn't know how to have that confrontation. So I just went home. And, it ends up being a decent story because he's okay. And he survived. But after that moment, I didn't see him for a while. And then, thank God he's okay. But... So that's number 2.
What the fuck comes after that?
I don't know. I got more, but you know what? We're getting the wrap up slide.
We're gonna end it there. I was gonna talk about my friend stole my lunch when I was 9. No, I wasn't. But like anything after that, yeah, we're gonna wrap it there.
Okay, all right.
That was Beau. Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Well, we're gonna take a break. Okay, I'm going to go shit out a bowling pin. And then we are going to bring on our life coach, our mentor, and the owner of our new landscaping company, Lisa Lampanelli.
Love you.
This episode of Losers with a Dream is brought to you by mirrors. Mirrors. Break one or Beau will shit in your freezer. This episode of Losers with a Dream is brought to you by bowling pins. Hey! We're not shit. We're bowling pins.
Welcome back to the Losers with a Dream podcast. We are losers, and we got big dreams.
Yeah.
We are now after we came in. There's no words after what you guys just heard.
Oh my God! Introduce me.
Just go, Lisa.
Psycho.
Just go,
Lisa
Lampanelli, our life coach, mentor.
Honestly, I did not see this coming. Okay, people, I'm just going to inform your audience how things work for us.
Yeah,
What
sure.
happens is usually Nick and Beau and I meet on a Sunday before taping, and we're like, "Oh, what will we talk about?"
Yeah.
And one of them. She's like, I think we should talk about friendships. I'm like, ooh, that's good, because I had to declutter a few friendships during COVID, people who no longer serve me, not people who shit in their freezer. So I think it's going to be a lighthearted yet somewhat poignant topic, because what we'll talk about is when's it time to end a friendship. Can you be friends with a female you find attractive or a male you find attractive? What's a best friend concept? Is that a false construct rooted in racism? No, instead we're shitting in a freezer. So I am sitting there listening to you guys, and I'm dying. First of all, Nick, I am sorry, but you have had the easiest life ever. If your mother had lived, you couldn't be in the same room with Beau because you've had such a good life. The fact that Beau is complaining about people who, I don't know, what is the thing called when you said with the helium?
Fishing.
Oh, fishing out.
I don't know what this is. I'm 59. I never heard of this kidding. I cannot believe it. I have cut people off because they had one too many drinks.
Right.
You guys,
Yes,
first
I'm
of
with
all,
Lisa on that shit.
I know. Nick, you clearly have better boundaries. God forbid you turn down a fucking wedding. You with these weddings, it's your bugaboo. There's something going on with you with these weddings. I don't know. This is a very deep psychological hole he's trying to fill. I know. You don't even talk about it. You sit there.
Yeah, you
He's really messed up, isn't he?
I'm dying. Poopsicles. Yes. This episode of Losers with a Dream is brought to you by Poopsicles. Find them everywhere that Beau is. Okay. First of all, the reason we even decided to do this podcast was because I was very impressed by the two of you guys and your level of friendship as straight guys.
Right.
So I was like, oh, they actually communicate. They talk. They have boundaries. Clearly, there were newfound boundaries because you didn't used to have them because of thinking of the stuff you used to put up with, Beau.
Yeah.
That's like insane.
Yeah.
Like I honestly am dying. I was sitting on that couch so depressed over your life. And I'm so impressed that because you guys actually, the reason I like you guys as friends is because you actually see each other. You
Yeah.
don't make up what's going on with each other. You kind of see what's going on, accept each other as you are.
Yeah.
Like the other day, Sunday, okay, Nick was in one of his little hissies. Because,
I didn't sleep much.
No,
And
he
I was
didn't
full of
sleep.
sugar and alcohol.
No, and he also was obsessed with the conference call he was going to have Tuesday, and will it go okay for me? And I can't talk him out of it because you can't talk someone out of worry. You just have to say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way,
Right.
poor thing, whatever.
make you put on a new mailbox.
You'll survive it. So I said, we were at the Duchess, and I said, look, there's no way to get out of your own head like some physical labor. I said, both of you stand up. We're going to go put a mailbox on my house, and Beau is going to build my patio furniture.
We literally did.
They did it. But then I get a text from Beau going, oh, do you think Nick's okay? He seemed in a mood. And I was like so impressed because he wasn't talking shit. He was like worried about you.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, they see each other. I think Nick sees Beau less because he's not as evolved and he doesn't work on himself nearly as much.
How can I see less of this guy?
Yeah, that is true. You are a bit of a navel gazer. If you could see your navel, Beau, it would be terrific. But here's the deal. At least you guys have this level of friendship. So when I hear about these past friendships, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Like I can't even believe it. Do you think, Beau? Okay, first of all, you said so much energy right in the beginning. You talk about your new job, saying so much energy goes into being the fake self at work.
Right.
I think that's also why your friendship doesn't suck the oxygen and the energy out because you aren't being fake with each other. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Almost
you're right.
never.
Yeah.
So when you, it's really almost
Just say,
never.
no, really. I mean, we're pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
So what do you think made you hold on to things for too long? Because I think, Beau, what you sound like you have is a rescuer complex.
Yeah.
And you like to rescue.
Got it from Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your mom's clearly an enabler who'd bring you booze to help you get over a hangover. I mean,
Yeah. She'd wake me up with booze.
yeah, I mean, this is not, I mean, it's not a sound practice, but you can see where it comes from.
It's not a sound practice.
Because I heard the greatest saying the other day when it comes to friendship. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you.
Right.
So basically, you can't change anybody you're friends with, but you can get them the fuck out of your life and surround yourself with equals.
Yeah.
So what, Beau, say you're talking about bowling ball shitter. That's what we'll call him from now.
Yeah.
Bowling ball shitter.
When did you, or bowling pin shitter?
Yeah.
When did you're like, okay, he's gonna die.
Right.
Is that at the point where you were like, okay, I need to take 5 years off from this guy?
Well, I just had to walk away. You know, I didn't know how long. Like, I didn't give myself a time limit or anything. I mean, I'm the type of person, though, if he called the next day and said, I need help, I would have been right there.
No, that's
You
fine.
know?
The I need help, but so it would show some progress.
Yeah.
But you clearly recognized that you couldn't change him.
No. Yeah. And, you know, I didn't know how to change him because I couldn't change myself at that point. I mean, I was drinking a lot. And also, one of the main reasons why I liked hanging out with him was because it made me feel less bad about my addiction.
Yeah, it's like when you have to hang out with somebody enormously fatter and more misshapen than
Right.
you, Beau. I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
It's like you
boy.
want to surround yourself in the old immature days with people who are worse off so you can feel good about yourself.
Right. If I'm doing better than him, then I'm okay.
Right.
Right. And when you start to look at the people that you're doing better than, and it's a guy that like has his human shit in the freezer and
Yeah.
like hasn't showered
That
in
is
weeks,
not a good standard.
you kind of go like, all right, well, I don't know.
Right.
But I think
You're like, I'm doing it.
But I just also I get attached, and a lot of it goes back to our, I don't know if our last one chronologically, but our podcast about dreams. And I had this dream that we would always be friends, and I had this dream that I was always going to be there for him, and he was always going to be there for me. And letting that dream die was terrifying because I loved him.
Right.
You know, and,
Right.
and like I do like fall in love with my friends very like, you know, I'm
Of course.
you know, yeah. So
So
just
it was almost like were you saying to yourself, I'll be there for you when the rain starts to fall. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. Is that what you're saying? Kind of the theme from Friends? Yeah. No, but you're right, because we do. I wrote this down when I was listening. I am right. It is arguably easier to break up with someone in a romantic relationship than it is to break up with a friend.
yeah.
There is more. First of all, you can blame the romantic breakup on cheating or I'm not attracted to him anymore or whatever
Right.
you and Nick did when you guys broke up your relationship.
Or you fart in your sleep.
But with friendships, it's almost harder because you really have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
It's never, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
It's, you're toxic. You're trying to make me change. I want to change you. This is not healthy for us. And that's hard to hear,
Right. Yeah.
you know? So to call someone who said they had a friendship where they actually called and broke up with someone.
I did that. Yeah.
I think that's ballsy because I 3 years ago was the first time I ever called someone and broke up with them as a friend, and I felt like a fucking badass. I was like, I was so great. I just told the truth. I said, every time I'm with you, I leave and I feel exhausted and worse than before I saw you. So clearly this isn't working. And
That
I
is
was
an extremely
but
honest thing to
dude,
say.
the chick was like really upset. She starts crying. She goes,
Yeah.
that just hurts me. It kicks off all my insecurities. I said, well, that's your issue. Because
Yeah.
clearly I should be able to tell you that and you not take it personally. I said, it's just not a match. But it took me to 58, 57 years old to do that.
Yeah.
That's hard to do because usually it's just ghost,
Right.
you know?
It's the easiest thing to do. Yeah.
But what's weird is, do you really think it's the easiest? Because all we do is think about that, and we feel like assholes for doing it.
Right. Yeah. It's like it lingers more, whereas it's you just gotta cut the Band-Aid. Yeah.
But it's hard with the whole thing is with ghosting. Okay, first of all, it feels good in the moment, like the booze or whatever. Then
Yeah.
it haunts us.
Right.
So I broke up with 2 people over COVID who weren't serving me. The relationship was not going well. So I hand wrote a letter to one of them, and I felt that was so mature.
Yeah.
She was mature enough not to come back and try to talk me out of it. It was so mature. The other one, and Beau, sorry, I'm racist against fucking addicts. She was a boozer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking drunk will forget I wrote her a letter anyway, so I'm not even going to bother. And I think just a relationship didn't mean as much.
Yeah.
And I couldn't change her boozing. And I was like, wow, I just got to get her out of my life. So
Yeah.
it does haunt me a little, the ghosting. You
Yes.
know?
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's exhausting, the whole thing. So do you think, if you had to define, let's take shitting and harrowing it out. If you, Nick, had to give a definition of a relationship or a healthy friendship, what would it be?
I think it would be someone who accepts you for who you are, and they really don't negatively impact your life, and they don't expect. I struggle with this one. I think like not expecting too much. I believe like out of each other, like you're cool. Just you understand where you both stand. I think I'm having trouble explaining this, but this is what.
No. Okay, so the first part is someone who you accept, which I think that's really smart because that's the root of all discontent, it seems to me, is non-acceptance of our circumstances. Like, you have to accept, I had to accept Sunday that Nick was in a fucking mood about his little bitch phone call, and I can't talk him out of it. So I have to be like, oh, I accept him that he worries, and that's okay. But then I can shift it to, I'm aware of his goodness and his great quality. So I have a awareness of the whole person, so you can accept that one thing. But there sometimes are those one things that's a freaking deal breaker. Like with my friend, no one's calling me at fucking 11 at night fucking drunk. I can't take it. I don't know why. I've not been around a lot of alkies or potheads or whatever. I just have a trigger with fucking addicts. Like, Beau, if you fucking pick up ever, don't fucking call me. Like, I will fucking be like, well, good. Call fucking Nick because he's your little bitch friend, not me.
Well, call your sponsor.
Okay,
Unless you're dying.
Let's abandon him. Let's abandon him.
No. I'll help, but I'll be like, hey man, it's really.
It hurts that you guys talk about this. Yeah.
Good. But you have to accept that about us.
Yes.
So if you had to define a non-toxic, healthy relationship, what would your definition include, Beau?
I would say good, healthy boundaries, an understanding of who that person is, and a willingness to allow them to be themselves.
Right. That's the huge thing, I think, is really the willingness to let them be themselves. Because I had a friend once, oy vey, you never fucking seen somebody eat this slow. I cannot. I inhale food. I eat fast. I can't stand it. 45 minutes a course.
You can't.
And I'm like, I hate you so much. But I had to go, does the good outweigh this one thing? Obviously, yes.
Yeah.
So I think, it is all acceptance. And then being like, I mean, what's one thing about Nick that drives you crazy?
His
tight ass and his tight box.
It's your hot box. Yeah. No. I'd say one thing that drives me crazy is his annoying attention to detail.
Oh, I love that.
I cannot stand somebody who's
organized and good looking.
Yeah. How'd you get good
I don't know.
looking?
Sorry, I blacked out.
Yeah.
You mean organized?
No,
There's bullet points in my phone.
I hate that you need everything to be a certain way.
Insane.
And because I can't reconcile with that, so I'm always like, well, what does he need that for? And then I get upset and I'm like, and I just want to be crazy and allow just the wall to be spread with whatever.
I'm sort of waking you up with vodka. What do you think?
Maybe then you'll get along.
You remind me of my mother.
So, Nick, what's one thing that drives you nuts about Beau, but that you have to accept because it doesn't outweigh the good?
I guess the other day, there's something that just we have, we messed up the issue. The episode was uploaded the wrong thing, and I text Beau all this stuff, and his text response was great. And I wanted to drive my car.
Wait, what? Wait, he just said great?
Yeah.
And why is that bad?
I called him, I go, so what does that mean? And he's like, I gotta go to work. I can't do it. And I was like, no, I know, but what should we do? What?
Yeah, because you want a specific answer to how we're going to do this and what we're going to do. And I go, I don't know. Can we just be mad?
Okay, so it's basically that you have to accept that he's unorganized and
today, even today, I go, hey, what? Instead of being like, hey, we're wearing the blue shirts tomorrow, I just texted him, what shirts do you have access to that you've actually found
Which is
at
a
your
smart
house?
thing to say.
Yeah.
So now I know, he's like, gray. I'm like, we'll do gray. Please try to find the others.
See, what's interesting
or buy them yourself.
Years ago, I would have been bugged by both those same things in you guys, but I'm smart enough to keep my fucking distance from the both of yous. I'm on these fucking text fucking threads, and I'm like, I'm going to ignore half this shit because it's dumb. And he's put great, though, and it didn't trigger me. But there's something in you that you really hated that he was just kind of throwing up his hands.
Yeah.
So it's a trait you don't like, but it's funny how it's not that horrible. When does it get to horrible? How many people have to have fake weddings for you to cut them off? How many people have to have real weddings that you get invited into doing? And you're a boundaryless fucking idiot. You can't just say, dude, we haven't talked in 10 years. I can't believe you're inviting me to this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You know?
I gotta say, like, the stuff that you were like, oh, I'm gonna cut this person off for, like,
Yeah.
I would allow them to do that forever and never be, and I would just be like, oh, okay, they're fine, because
Right.
I'm always like, oh, I accept people, you know what I mean? Because I just want to accept them.
I'm
The only
way.
times I've ever cut off relationships is when I thought it would hurt my person. Like when I was like, if I'm around them, I may get caught up with the wall, or I'll get caught up.
But does
with
part of
whatever.
you think that's also age? Because I think when I was 30, I was kind of like allowing toxic idiots into my
Yeah.
life, and I think now you just go, "Oh my God, life's too short." Like,
Right.
ew. Like
Yeah.
I can't be around
Yeah,
this person.
I'm there now. I'd say I'm pretty like who's in and who's out pretty quickly.
Well, you got to start being some of these wedding fucking
Well,
things.
no,
are
like
out.
th-
I mean,
these
this
weddings
is-
were
this is
a
too
long
much.
time ago. These weddings were 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Right.
And the wedding I have coming up is one of my best friends. I was 9 years old. I love this man, so I'll do anything for. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about those things years ago.
Yeah, but you know what's stupid about you? I just had to say that. Nothing. No. You know what I was thinking though? When you said, and you think it's a compliment, but I don't. When you said, quote, I was with these guys this weekend, and there's nothing against these guys. I don't know them.
Right.
You know,
They love you,
and
by
it
the way.
was like, of course they love me. I'm fucking terrific. You said, and it was like we took right back up where you've left off, and middle school stories. I would fucking kill myself because
I feel the same way.
that fucking lack of we moved forward
Oh.
and we're now talking about the past.
I mean,
whole
we
time
talked about
would
other shit, but
annoy
like-
the fuck out of me.
I have so many friends who are living between 18 to 21.
Right.
And every time I see them, it's all about
remember
those
do,
years
memories,
and
do.
trying to relive them.
Right.
And I'm like, hey, what are we going to do? Are we
Yeah.
going to keep doing this? Is it going to be 10 years from now?
I
We're going to
can't
be talking
stand
about
it.
something
that
20 years
to me
ago?
is exhausting fucking conversation.
I can't do it.
But no, I agree. These weren't your friends this weekend that did, they didn't stay stuck or anything. They sound like they moved forward.
No, they're all doing good.
But the fact is,
They're all doing a lot of blow.
they
Jesus Christ, man! They're gonna listen.
Yeah, geez. By the way,
Fucking idiot.
disclaimer, they're not doing blow.
We're gonna bleep that
He was
out.
just
Thank you, Rick.
kidding. Beau is kidding because he's jealous. He can't anymore
Yeah,
because
he
he's
is.
weak.
Hit me
he
up.
can't
I was like,
live
these
it
guys are
himself.
fun. But I was like, I want to be there. I'm like, stay home.
Oh my God. By the way, I want to take issue also, Beau, with your friend who, the morphine guy. Was that the first guy?
Yeah, first guy.
Okay,
Morphine
I can't
Mick.
even believe that was your first. That was your warm-up story.
Well, my third was the guy who started doing home invasions.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think that guy was a good friend ever because he came out of that rehab.
Why would you say that?
And because he offered Beau 7 morphines and he took 8.
I was
and
thinking
I
that.
said
That's
that is
right.
not a good friend. If he was a good friend, you would get at least 8. So I think you should have questioned
Plus, he
it
probably
early on.
outweighed him. You should get more.
That's true. I could put down a few more.
Guy.
Beau had no fucking boundaries. It's like, I'll choke him out so he can really have a good high. And Nick's like, I'm not paying for the bachelor party. I mean, please. So, okay, anyway, so back to friendship. Let's just say this. Okay. I read a very good definition of friendship that I think this actually is a sort of a composite of what you're saying. A good friendship enhances your life without trying to change the other person.
Okay.
So basically, if you walked into your buddy's house with the bowling pins of shit,
Yeah.
you'd say, is this it? I don't think so. I
don't feel
And I
enhanced.
also would like to change him to not shit in the freezer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Nick, these guys this past weekend, well, some of the conversation was silly and girlish. And it was, remember in middle school when we braided each other's hair and jerked each other off in gym class? Which
Sort
I
of.
guarantee
Close. Yeah, it
you,
was close.
guarantee you they did.
Yeah.
They do enhance
close.
your life because they are a nice link to the previous times of jerking off in the gym locker room, and you don't try to change each other.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing because it's very hard to even define the words healthy relationship or toxic boundary or toxic friendships because like they're so overused as terms. Like
Yeah.
we don't even know what it is. But toxic, you can feel it. You
Right.
don't even have to define it. You go, yeah, there's just something about that person.
Yeah. They're always angry. It's always about them. Stuff like that.
They
It
always
drives
are
you-
dropping a weight on their finger and pretending it was a.
And passing out.
It was
from
really hard. Oh, but I think the friendship is basically a safe space where you don't have to worry about
Right.
caretaking. This is the first time in my life at this age, first time ever, none of my friends need me more than I need them.
That's a good.
That's fuck it, because it's always imbalanced.
Yeah.
And I'm like, right now, if I look at my phone at my favorites, I'd rather list be fucking 10 people than 40.
Right.
If the 10 don't need me more than I need them. Yes, at any given time, it's 80-20, 20-80. But even with you two idiots, I kind of consider us friends. But I don't really feel you.
We're friends.
Yeah. I feel it's weird though, because I used to think I couldn't be friends with people under a certain age.
Right.
Because I'd be like, well, they're beneath me. They don't know shit. They don't
Yeah.
know anything.
All
Yes,
true.
that is all true about you guys. 150%. But I think I'm more open because I'm like, well, they have something to offer. There is a youthfulness. There is a fun element. There is this like fun little project to work on, you know?
Yeah.
Are you guys going anywhere with this podcast? No. Does anyone expect you to be a success? No. But I get a kick out
Do
of
I now
helping you
know?
not realize your dream. So, but isn't it? But it's interesting. I don't feel you need me more than I need you. I need to show up for you guys just as much as you need me to make this podcast good. Because without me, you're nothing.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
No. Yeah.
100%. See, this isn't toxic. I'm not trying to change you.
When you were like starting to
Sorry.
get.
What? Okay, no, go ahead.
Well, like when things were starting to go well for you in your career, did you have like people that would just glob on and just needed something from you every day?
See, I thought
Were you like entourage?
I didn't think. No, I didn't. Turtle. I had Turtle.
The opposite of Entourage.
I didn't think I had. I had users in my life, but I guess I did a little bit, but not as
Yeah.
much as you would think.
Yeah.
I'd mostly have opening acts who I'd later go, oh wow, they were kind of using me because I
Yeah.
hear that they talked about me or whatever, and I was like, oh, like that's. But I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
I was. You know how you're delusional about how successful you are and how good you are?
Yeah.
I was delusional about how I didn't think I was as good as I was. So I was like,
Right.
well, who am I? I'm nobody. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, so what if it's Radio City? Like, oh, you know, it's no big deal. Like, everybody does that. So I was like, oh, they couldn't be using me. What for?
Right.
And then you realize later, oh my God, yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I remember, this isn't a friendship thing, but it kind of hurt. This gay pride organization in the city was like, we want to give you an award and you could have come to this theater. And it was like a big fucking excuse to sell tickets.
Yeah.
There was no fucking award. I mean, yeah, I got some dumb plaque that I threw away.
Oh,
Gold,
God.
gold cock.
It was very, I wish. It was very triggering to see that award because I was like, oh, you just used me to sell tickets to that.
Yeah.
Even though I wasn't performing.
Oh, wow.
So that to
Okay.
me is toxic, you know?
Right.
So it's very interesting, the whole thing. So I think what we've learned today. Okay, so we have to touch on two lighthearted things before we fucking wrap up because this
The
one
ladies.
this literally. Okay, first of all, okay, being friends with the opposite sex or the person that the sex whatever you're attracted to. It's a very difficult thing. I remember
Yes.
I had a friend right after college named Jorg. Now that's German for George, and he had a twin. And they were so
Jorgen Smorg.
Jorgen and Heinz or some shit. And they were really attractive, but they were gay as fuck.
Oh,
And I was always falling in love with some fucking gay guy.
yeah.
So it is very hard to be friends with someone you're attracted to physically. Because I
Right.
remember he would go, he was a great guy. I mean, I have no problem with him. He would call and be like, oh, do you want to go dancing? He was like, "How's it
You guys go shopping together, and he'd be like, "Your tits are great."
They always do like that too. They go, "Oh, you look at you all skinny. Look at you look so good." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, I fucking love him." And I would just jump. So when you guys are attracted to a female who you're friends with, don't you find your jump through hoops for them more than you would for a guy who is a straight guy that you have no shot with, that you're not interested in sticking it in and getting a piping from.
Absolutely. In my earlier days,
Mm-hmm.
I would have done anything for an attractive woman who considered me a friend. Because I'd been like, oh, well, one day
Right.
I'm going to win her over, and then she's going to
So
totally
it
want
was
me,
an
man.
you were playing.
Yeah.
playing the
So not
long
really
game.
friends, really more like I'm using your attention and you're using my use, right? Like you're
And you
whatever
thought,
you
like,
need, I'll do.
help you move.
Yeah, and you thought
you'd get,
like,
I'll
better
build your
looking.
mailbox.
Yeah, I was like, eventually she'll see who I really am.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I will help her with her chainsaw.
Watching too many fucking Adam Sandler movies.
Yeah. But today, I wouldn't let it get to that point.
How do you prevent it from getting to that point? Do you go, well, I'm not going to be friends with hot chicks? Because I honestly,
almost
I'm not
impossible.
friends with any hot guys, clearly.
I'm friends with a few hot chicks, like my friend Noelle, who you know, she's kind of a hot chick.
Yes, she
and
is.
we've remained friends, and like her relationship, another one where it's like it just never made sense because they were dating a good friend of mine, or like there was something though that kept them off the table in a romantic setting. Do you know what I mean? And that's how I met them, and then we stayed that way. And I always say, I'm not going to push that issue because now that we've become
but
really
wait,
good friends,
so what
I'm going to
if
let that go.
Noelle, my
Yeah, I mean, in a
famous-
heartbeat.
No. And my favorite story, remember I told
every
you
guy.
guys about becoming friends first and then having a relationship, like the Lust episode we did,
Yeah.
was where this guy on a plane told me a story about him and his wife, and he's like, yeah, we were friends for 10 years, and then one day we were painting the deck, and we looked at each other like, oh. So do you have a deck painting fantasy with Noelle, or is it like, I mean, she probably is listening, so you probably will not tell the truth, but do you in your head, not that you're consciously saying it to yourself, but is that a glimmer of hope?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just because I like her as a person, and I am also attracted to her, and so I think, it could be great. But I would never break the boundary because I'm like, I wouldn't want to break that boundary. But
suppose Noelle,
if
which
we're
she
painting
will
a deck.
never. Noelle, please, if you're listening, I know you
Run.
just threw up. If Beau was to, if you were both single at the same time,
Yeah.
and if she was to say to you, how come? The girls are. This is a big one with the girls. How come we never went out? She'll have a couple drinks in her, and she'll be like, gobbling a knob or some shit. No, like you do.
Yeah.
Would you be like, well, I have to respect the friendship? Because that's
No.
fucking gay as fuck.
You
I'm
know that I
sorry.
wouldn't do that,
I
yeah.
hate when guys go, I
almost
don't want to
no
ruin
guy.
the friendship. That means he doesn't want
No
to stick
guy.
it in you.
Yeah.
No guy.
So would you would
on.
make her your woman if she...
I'll make her honest woman. I'll make
if
her
you
honest
both
woman.
were single and you had this base of friendship?
She would have to bring it up. I
Yes.
wouldn't cross that
1000%,
because
dude.
as a man, it's way
1000%.
once you cross that bridge,
It's done. You
you
can't
can't get to the
call
other
each
side.
other anymore.
Yeah, another great
friendships-
analogy by me.
friendships
Did you hear
over.
that one?
What did he say?
I said once you cross that bridge, you can't come
Dude,
back.
That's
you ever hear
very
about like
true.
the waiting for a roller coaster?
Okay, guys, you don't even know, but you're so lucky you don't see this podcast before we start taping because Beau is platitude, saying, slogan, platitude.
Just for today, man.
You know what the worst part of the
Just for today,
You know what the
man.
worst part of the roller coaster is? Waiting in line. Shut the
Genius.
fuck up.
Genius.
No, I mean, it's a good saying, but don't slogan us, okay?
It's I.
Okay, so you
got anyone?
say you're friends with that really hot girl. You showed me her picture on Instagram from the gym.
Yeah.
The one who looks like Olivia Munn. What would have to happen for you to make the move, or would you be like, she has to grab a dick?
She's got to go for it. I would never cross the boundary.
Is
and
it
I work at a
because you're
gym,
afraid
and I'm
to?
surrounded by.
And
Yeah,
which
I mean,
is not a problem. Fear is a very real thing. Fear of rejection.
I've always like when all this Me Too shit started coming out. I was like, I'm too scared to do anything. Like I'm too scared to fucking go.
Nobody's writing an article about you.
I'm just.
no one.
I'm not talking about that, Beau. Get on a fucking roller coaster. There's
Go
no
wait
weight.
in line.
There's not a weight limit.
No, you know what the problem
Ball
with the
trainer
roller coaster
tries to
is?
fuck chick
He
at
must
bar.
be this one.
We got a double belt there. We got to get 2 belts.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Dude, my ex-husband used to have to get the seatbelt extender on the fucking plane. And I said to him once, I go, why don't you buy a seatbelt extender? He goes, that's when you really give up. See, now that's an interesting thing. With him, I can be friends with him because I couldn't stand him as a mate, and then I saw, but as a friend, you couldn't ask for anybody better.
Right.
So I think here is the thing. And also, if you're not attracted to someone, it's easy. But like when Harry Met Sally, when Billy Crystal's character says, you know, you can't be friends with a hot chick, look what happened.
Yeah.
They got married. You cannot be friends with someone you're attracted to, especially Jorg from fucking Westport, Connecticut. Love you, man. If you're not gay anymore, call me. All right. And lastly, one last thing. I am sick and tired of the concept of best friend.
Yes.
Because I feel it is rooted in racism. And the reason I say that is, look it up.
Okay.
It's ownership. It's actually rooted in ownership. And it's just like being like, well, you're my best friend, so you have to call me back all the time. You're my best friend. You're my best friend. You're my best friend. That's like out of a fucking movie. Stop it. And by the way, no one's best friends with their sister or brother.
Yeah.
Never fucking happens. Beau, your brothers are fucking mental. No, Nick, no one likes you because you don't have siblings, so you're not friends with them.
Only child.
And here's the worst. My mom's my best friend. No, you codependent twat. She pays your rent.
Yes.
Your mom is not your best friend until, by the way, you hit maybe 30 and have kids of your own, and then you can relate. So don't you agree that you cannot be best quote unquote friends and that it's a flawed model of friendship?
Yeah, it doesn't work because it builds an expectation that you can't fulfill.
Right.
Like you just thinking of even you, somebody who I talk to all the time, giving you that title and being like, "You're my best friend." What the fuck does that mean?
You're a racist.
Yeah. What do I expect?
And on that note,
it sets up an expectation. You're right. Of like, well, I mean, if you really liked me, you would call me all the time.
Right, and it's like this unconditional love, and we all know that there is conditions to everything. Like you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And by the way, thank you for bringing that up because that pisses me off. This unconditional love, because it doesn't exist. Maybe with a dog. Maybe with a dog, because they're an inanimate almost object that kind of just is gushing with love.
Peggy, unconditional love.
He's so cute. Okay, that's Beau's little friend, my doggy. But don't you think the concept of unconditional love is fucking bullshit?
Yes.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't even think parents should have it for children. No. Because think about it. If your kid is a fucking murderer, say you're Richard Ramirez's mother.
Okay.
You killed all those women. Yes, they were only women, and women are less valuable than men.
I'm glad you see
But
it.
yes,
Our
I
point,
do.
Lisa.
Now she's getting there.
There's conditions to friendship. Like if Beau hadn't come over and built my little fucking sectional, there's conditions. We don't have a friendship anymore. Okay? So you do a certain amount of physical labor for me, then I'm friends with you.
We need to work on boundaries on this podcast.
That's what I said to my friend. I go, I told Beau he didn't have to build that for me. So I think that's enough that I told him he didn't have to, but I think he wants to. So that's what we'll do another episode on boundaries when it comes to building of furniture. I think we need that.
Absolutely.
But all right, so we think we've proven today that Beau, your friendships have gotten better now that you cut out the people who shit in the fucking freezer.
Yeah.
You're a pussy. You can't fucking deal with your own life.
That's right.
There's no such thing as unconditional love except for our dogs. Best friends racist. And also can't be friends with a fuckable person. I think we've covered it all.
Nope.
Tough.
Eventually you're going to want to stick it.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to want to pipe it. Now, to see more high quality content from the Losers with a Dream, don't.
Guys, we have dreams, and to support them, you can share this podcast with your friends, your family members,
But
and
not
people you like.
Yeah, but not just the friends that you really like. Like,
No.
even send it to people you don't like that much and you're about to
Yeah, or if
ghost.
you're gonna break up with a friend, be like, here, you fucking loser, listen
Yeah.
to these guys.
That's
Yeah.
actually true. This is a good way, by the way, for them to break up with friends.
Send them this episode.
And by the way, I want you to do this. I've never said this on this. Send us, go to @Beau McDowell Comedy, which is so dumb. What is this fucking shit? Was Beau McDowell taken?
I don't know. I don't remember.
He puts comedy there because people don't know that he's funny.
Well, we don't know. I'm still shocked at this.
Yeah.
I think it's in quotes. So it's one of those things I call in a short
Beau
guy.
McDowell, it's Beau McDowell
stretch.
comedy. Yeah, it's Beau McDowell comedy with this emoji.
Yeah, like I think. Send us your friendship questions because this has probably been our longest podcast when it comes to time, length of time.
Yes.
Because this is a very interesting subject. Send us your questions about friendship. Send us your conundrums, so to speak.
Send us your
situations that you
us
want
your
us to help
conundrums.
you solve. So we do friendship part 2 because this shit is charged, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send us anything. Send us any questions you have that's going on in your life.
No,
We'll
not
talk
going
about
on in your life. It's one fucking thing I said about the friends. This is why we're not friends.
Or send
because
nudes.
you're stupid.
Send nudes.
I know. Shut up,
Guys,
I
males
also.
only.
Beau McDowell comedy.
If you,
Send it.
if you, by the way, if you can beat Beau's story about what a friend is,
Yeah.
If you can beat the shitting in the freezer and the what is the thing fishing at the place,
The fishing out. Yeah.
then please try to shock us, and it has to be true because we may have to call you on the air.
Absolutely.
All right, listen, I gotta go because I have real friends I gotta go hang out with.
Yeah, right.
All right. Let's go to the diner.
Yeah, let's go to the diner together.
Bye.
Love you, Losers with a Dream. Hey, thanks for listening to Losers with a Dream. We'll see you next week when you got more time to kill. Fucking hate these guys.